across Ohio matters more. That's what we talk about every day. This is the Jake Underwood Show on AM 1420. The Answer.
Hello and good morning. Welcome into the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420. The Answer, 102.9 FM. Or if you want to watch the stream, some behind the scenes, you could do so on social media. We're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. We're on X. I am Jake Underwood, the man behind the glass. This morning is one Mr. Canny Kid. Good morning, Canny. Hi. How's it going, Canny?
Good.
Got
to get to X and retweet.
Yes.
Or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah, I don't reposting.
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the stuff on X. So any help is appreciated. And yeah, this is what we're doing. We got a lot to dive into today. America 250 kicked off yesterday. It was pretty good. There was some goofy stuff. Some people they got caught up in the moment. We'll talk about that. Mike DeWine vetoed the voter ID bill. What do we do now? I know it sounds bad, but I don't think it's as bad as people think, and we'll dive into that. New York is falling apart. I've seen a lot of stuff, whether it's that large woman stealing a trash can. There are just a lot of videos that are coming out, and I just want to give people a heads up because the socialism is really starting to bite people there. They're all getting caught by the socialism, so we got to make sure that doesn't happen here. We'll get into the details of that. NATO was at the White House. Larry David was embarrassed about the UFC fight. He was so sad. He was so mad about it. I'd be embarrassed about the way Seinfeld ended, but we all have things that we're embarrassed about. But the first thing I want to talk about, because it's local, and we said we were going to get to it yesterday, but we ran out of time, and I want to make sure that I give this the coverage that it deserves. And I'm talking about the stuff that's going on with the vacant homes in East Cleveland, because it's getting really bad. It's getting really bad to the point, and Channel 19 was the one that did the story on this, and that's how it got brought to my attention, so I just want to credit them. They did the footwork. We're going to talk about it now. They had an interview with some people that live on a street in Potomac Avenue, and they want the city to do something about these vacant homes. It was to the point that the man was out there with his wife, and he was talking about how because of all the vacant homes around them, he doesn't feel safe having his wife and son at home.
I understand.
It's that bad. He actually said, he goes, I don't feel safe with my wife here by herself, and that's not right. We've got squatters, we've got mice, rats, all that. He said some houses have been falling apart since the family moved in 5 years ago, while others have been empty for the last 2 or 3 years. He's had paid people to come and clean up trash around the area, and said other neighbors also invest in their properties and the neighborhood, and now he and his wife want the city to do the same. Damn right.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of things I could say there, but that's the one that comes to mind. You're damn right, especially when the people in the area are stepping up and doing what they need to do. Yes. He goes on to say it shows that they're trying to have a community and that the community is trying, but it is hard. Absolutely it is. You're trying to clean up 100 years worth of just mess and decline by yourself. But you know what? I give him credit. I give him and that entire area credit if they're doing this. He went on to say that he wants the city to enforce fines, code violations, and move towards demolishing unsafe properties. Cuyahoga County records show that for many of these crumbling homes, they're privately owned. I had to dive into that once. Mm-hmm. It was a house on Rosewood Avenue, because I grew up there as a kid. My family lived there, and there was a house that they were freaking out about. It was falling apart, and it was to the point. Because if you've ever driven down Rosewood in Garfield, you see the houses are kind of close to each other.
Yeah.
And if a wall starts to bow out, it could cause damage to the houses around it.
Absolutely.
And we started looking into that. This is when I was down the dial, and there's a lot of these homes. They're privately owned, and it's by I forgot the name of the company, but it was in Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah, so they really care. But this community's doing something about it. He said it's an issue of safety. My wife and my son there by themselves, that's a problem. This is the part that just tickles me. And it just made me giggle, and I wanted to scream. It says that Channel 19 WOIO, who I'm crediting the story to because they're the ones that are on it. They reached out to the mayor.
Oh yeah.
Now, with that said, I will say this: the mayor has been there since January. So there's probably East Cleveland. It runs deep in East Cleveland.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues
There
in
is.
East Cleveland.
So I'm not going to like completely bash her here because she's had the job for 6 months, almost 7. So, they're taking their time. This is the part that rubbed me the wrong way, though. It says the city's mayor responded to a request about the issue by working to schedule a neighborhood walkabout where she will discuss plans for such problems with the properties with 19 News. It's a media moment. It's going to be a media moment where they could do that. If you have a plan, just send the plan out. Let them look over the plan, and then you could start walking around the neighborhood. These people, I think it's insane that the people that are living in this area feel it's gotten so bad that, first of all, the husband who pays to live in who pays taxes, who's doing what he needs to do, giving your area a chance, which has seen nothing but decline. I think close to 20% of their population. That's the decline over the last 10 years. I have the stats here. Your area has a poverty rate of 40%. Yeah, they've lost nearly 20% of their population in the last 10 years. When it comes to violent crimes, 14 per 1,000 residents. 1 in 17 chance of victimization. Wow. When it comes to property crimes, 29 per 1,000 residents. 1 in 33 chance of victimization. And when it comes to just total crime in general, it's 43 per 1,000. 1 in 23 chance of victimization.
Who wants to live there? I mean, like, who would want to live there?
Well, that's just it.
And the problem is that anyone who does live there, good luck trying to sell your house.
Well, I'll tell you the reason why a lot of people do live there is because it's the median income's $22,000. So that tells you. But and we could sit here, we could try to chalk it up to lazy. They just don't want to move. Oh, wait, all the different things. When they're investing their own money because the city won't do it, I think that would explain why 10% of the population's dropped off in the last. 20% of the population has dropped off in the last 10 years. Now, remind you, East Cleveland, when it was started, that was Millionaire Row. Rockefeller lived out there. They had all the giant houses there, and now, they called it. It was the East Coast Beverly Hills. That's how much money. That's how much was put into this area. That's how nice it was. And now you got it to the point that,
Now it looks like L.A.
Well, yeah, no, really, yeah, honestly. But now, now it's to the point that a poverty rate over 40%, a violent crime nearly 5 times the Ohio average. And then to add to the troubles, you have the people who live on these streets. They got to put their own money, which they already do. It's called taxes. But now they got to pay people to come clean it up. They're talking about, squatters will move into these houses. You don't know what's going on. People have families in these areas. And I'll tell you, if eventually when we do a follow-up story on this, if they say the answer is apartment buildings, so help me. I'll go down there and protest with you. This is crazy. Clean up your neighborhood. Make it so that the people who live there actually have a chance to, the opportunity to do whatever they want to do, because that's what we do here. We create opportunity. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue talking about this, and we'll dive into some other stuff. That and more when we return. This is the Jake Underwood Show. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer, 102.9 FM, or free if you want to watch some behind the scenes. See what Canny and I do during the show. You can watch that on X, Rumble, and YouTube. It's probably going to get taken off of YouTube soon. I'm going to be honest. It's
it's not already.
No, no, I'm saying I will stop trying YouTube. There's the amount of censorship on that.
I'm surprised you even have
crazy.
An account there still.
Well, to be fair, this is not my personal account's pretty much locked down. This is the show account that we go from. But to be fair, when I was doing live broadcasts, it'd be 17 years ago.
Oh wow.
On YouTube. I was doing like live radio shows and interviews and all that. And yeah, those got shut down 17 years ago. So you can only imagine. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show. Wow. Yeah. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. That 17 years kind of freaks me out.
Kind of double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I've been doing this a long time.
If it's shut down, you can't go back in and watch it.
But I have it saved. Oh. I do. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Long story short, I had to make my own commercials. Let your imagination run. We're talking about East Cleveland. We're talking about the fact that it's gotten so bad now just in East Cleveland that citizens are spending their own money to pay groups to clean up the streets so that they don't have to worry about their wives and children being home alone. That's where we're at. Vacant houses are still standing. People are using them. We have squatters in and out. This is an area that's lost 20% of their population in the last 10 years. And you know, we always this is there's a few reasons why this bothers me. The obvious reasons that these are people that they're trying, and the city's only getting in the way. Government once again is getting in the way. But this is where it really makes me nervous, because when government gets in the way like this, people have convinced themselves that the only answer is government. The only way that they can get out of the government getting in their way is by giving government more. And what do I mean by that? I mean, look at New York. Look at New York City and the way that a lot of those people were living in terrible areas, crime-ridden. It was bad. It was very bad. And it was only getting worse. People were scared to walk down the street. You have rats, mice running across the street. I'll never forget when I was in New York. I was staying down in Soho. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. You constantly hear sirens. You hear the beep, 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 beeps of the horn. And I look outside, and it looks like the ground is moving. It was the rice. It was the mice and the rats running in this back alley. That's how bad it really is. And when, you know, obviously it's going to be more because there's more people there. But when you start to listen to what they're saying in East Cleveland, this man and his wife that did this interview with WOIO, and they start talking about the vacant homes and the squatters that live there, and you have mice, you have rats, you have all these things running around. You're gonna get people to the point that they just feel like they have to submit, and it almost seems as if that's where this is going. Now, like I said, the new mayor has been there for 6 months, so I don't want it to seem like I'm taking shots at her, because I'm not. I'm really not. What I don't like is that she's, we have a plan, and I'll meet with you, Channel 19, and we can talk about it. No, just give them the plan, let them report on it, and then any questions they have, do a follow-up. And then, if it's good, your story stays a headline for a little bit longer. Look at you, getting press. But it's when situations like this start to get worse and worse and worse that you see these cities like New York, like LA, like Austin, that start to turn towards that bigger government and socialism. And we're seeing it in New York now. The Mondani endorsed candidates in New York City are winning like crazy. They are going to have a lot of socialists in power in New York City. And I'll tell you, it's New York City is getting to the point that it's unrecognizable. That's how bad it's become. People that have lived there for decades don't recognize the city where they live. And it's not just because of the major changes that are going on, but it's also because of the people that are running it, the mindset of the people who are running it. And it's become a major problem. And everybody is noticing it. But at this point, if you speak out against it, what do? They put a label on you. They throw a name at you.
It makes you an ist.
Yes.
You're full of isms.
Yes. And nobody wants to catch an ism or be called an ist.
whatever.
Right. But this is what I mean. I'm going to play this for you. I want you to remember, this is in Brooklyn, what I'm about to play here. It's in Brooklyn. This is an American city, one that was a stronghold. The Dodgers were started there. Brooklyn. I want you to hear this. 5 times a day.
What the hell is this?
5 times a day, residents in a neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, are forced to listen to Islamic call to prayers. They start as early as 5 a.m. This is becoming something that's normal. Could you imagine? I can't listen to it anymore.
No.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine it getting so bad that they just turn it over to? Now, I want to also remind you that these are Muslim calls to prayer in New York City. 9/11 was 25 years ago. How quickly we forget.
I thought we were going to never forget.
Oh, no. Not only do we forget, but now it's a punchline, and people watch movies and go, wow, I couldn't imagine if anything like that happened in New York. And then you just look at them and you go, it did, like 20 years ago. What are you talking about? Well, no, I mean, that's different. No, it's not. It's not. People are always, they want to forget because it's, it's not, it doesn't trend. It trends once or twice a year, so people like to forget about it. But this is what happens when government, I don't know why the mindset is this, and I'm not saying this is the case for the people in East Cleveland. I'm talking general statement now. But it comes down to when they see things start to fail, they rely on government even more. When in reality, that's when you should rely on yourself and the people around you even more, and credit to them for doing that. That's why they're spending their own money. They're trying to clean it up themselves. They can't knock down houses by themselves. They can't do that. They don't have the money to do that, but the city does. The city collects the taxes, and the city does what they do with the taxes. Who knows what it is? But East Cleveland is just an example, and it's all over the country. We have East Clevelands. If it's Gary, Indiana, New York had some rough areas. It's all over the country that you see these little areas outside of major cities that were once very popular. They had a lot of money, they had wealth, and then it just starts to go away. The problem is that I don't want to say the bad guys, but they are. The bad guys, the ones that want to go in there and completely stand against what America stands for, go in there and they try to take advantage of it. And I'm going to say what I said even about Mondani before he won. It's going to work for a little bit. It's going to work for a little bit because it's easy to spend somebody else's money. The problem comes when that money runs out. That's when it really starts to become a burden, and you're looking at it, you're going, oh, well, what happened to all this money? What are we doing here? But it's going to end up being the same result for the people that are living there. Yeah, they're going to get a little bit of money. They're going to notice the streets are nicer. But then what? Because they're going to run out of that money, and we're going to turn around, and this is the problem with socialism, and just big government in general. You're going to turn around, and the same problems are going to be there. You might get a 5 to 10 year break. I want to give kudos to the people of East Cleveland that are standing up and the ones that reached out to Channel 19. And by all means, if you're listening right now, feel free to call in. I'll let you talk. I'd love to talk to you. But I want to give them kudos because it's hard to stand up and it's hard to go, you know what? I'm putting my own money into this, especially, like I said, the median income of that area is $22,000. So it's not like this is ritzy neighborhood here. This is a rough neighborhood, and they're trying to do what they can to fix it up. And you know what? I give them credit because that's hard. That's hard to do. And every day, we talked to Donovan O'Neill yesterday, and he talks about one small step. And we talk about ordinary Americans that try to step up and do what's right. That's what these people are doing. And I want to recognize that. That's incredible that they're doing that. Because when government gets too big, your voice gets too small. And here's an example of that. How does the city, how does East Cleveland just forget about these vacant houses all over the place. I mean, you have to know that they're there. You're watching the population leave. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about this a little bit more. And I want to talk about NATO at the White House. Switch it up a little bit. But once again, kudos to the people in East Cleveland doing the right thing. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here. AM 1420, The Answer, 102.9 FM. Or if you want to watch the stream, we're on X, we're on Rumble. Those are the two to watch it on. I decided during the break, no more YouTube, because I'm already getting emails saying that we violated something. I'm like, all right, sounds good. All right, so once again, I want to give credit to the people of East Cleveland. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're stepping up. They're trying to hold government accountable. They're doing what they can. They reached out to media. And credit to WOIO, because I know some people, that's 19 if you don't know, but some people, they get real nervous. You know, they get real puckered when they got to, ask government questions, and they get real nervous. So credit to these people, credit to WOIO for trying to get some answers. And like I said, that mayor in East Cleveland, she came into office in January. So I'm not going to sit, the feet are going to be held to the fire, but not that much. Like, she's had the job for a half a year. I'm not going to sit here. And the same way that I look at people and I go, really, dummy? When they sit there and, Trump was 100 days in and they're like, what is he doing here? They start freaking out. I'm not going to do that. I'm not. Because I want to recognize those people, because you're seeing exactly what can happen when a small group of people start to hold government accountable, and it can spread. And it takes that one small step, as we talked about with Donovan O'Neill yesterday. But the part and I said it, the part that freaks me out is the socialism aspect, and just how it finds its way into these situations, and it like crawls through the cracks, and it just pops out of nowhere, and you're like, ugh, and it's scary. But people go along with it because they feel like for so long they've been taken advantage by government, and that government hasn't worked for them. And we have been bamboozled by whatever it may be. I don't know what it is, but we've been bamboozled to believe, and I'm not talking about me necessarily, or Kenny, or some of you listening, but there's a good portion of Americans, and we're seeing it because socialists are winning elections. They've been bamboozled to believe that socialism is going to work for them. Where I want to point this out, and I want to make this point so people can understand clearly. If you work for something, you don't pay it. You get what I'm saying? Like we get a paycheck because we work for something. We don't pay the company that we work for because we work there.
Yeah, we don't pay to work. Yeah.
Like, it's the complete opposite. With socialism, the whole reason they want us to have jobs and do different things is so then they can take tax money, because we are working for them in socialism. It is not the government working for us.
Do you like self-checkout lines? Because that's essentially what it is. It's essentially what it is. It's a self-checkout line for your government, where you don't work there, but you're doing their work. You're doing their job.
Or like when you order food and you go to pick it up and you pay and there's a tip.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm picking this up. What are you talking about? But it's this weird narrative. And I'll tell you my theory on it. This is what I believe it is. But it's this weird narrative of people not doing the American system correctly. And what it's turned into now, because if we were a ship, we would have flipped over. Because everybody's jumping to the left side. And then everybody's going to the right side. And then everybody's back to the... And it would just go back and forth. Like when you're a kid, you're trying to make waves in the pool, and you're rocking the floaty back and forth. The next thing you know, half the water's out of the pool. And your parents are screaming at you because you got to get out of the pool now. That's what our country has been like when it comes to the way that politicians are handling things and the way that voters are handling things, because it's just rocky. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's chaos. It's organized chaos. But the problem is that now you're starting to see the socialism creep in, and the communism creep in. If communism and socialism, if they worked, there would be just one success story. Just one. That's all I want. I just want one. I don't want it to be where we ignore the people who died, the millions upon millions of people who died because of communism and socialism. No. The system we do have success stories. You could sit here and you could be mad about, back 200 years ago When you guys were starting off as a country, it was this and this and this, and this was bad, and that was bad, and this and this and this and that. But we have success. That's the main difference. You can complain all you want. I could talk about how the car that I bought that was a project car, because really this country was a project. It still is. They're working on it. The same way that the apartments that they call project apartments, they're always going to be working on them. But this is a better working on because we see improvements with the country. We're seeing it form the way that it needs to be. Now, we've gotten very far away from what the Founding Fathers intended because we always forget to add, I said it yesterday, we forget to add context when we talk about things. But I'm seeing how we're slowly starting to drift. And the problem is, because New York likes to set the trends, whether it's with dumb clothes or music, and LA likes to set trends with dumb clothes and music. And what does it do? It makes its way inward. And we're going to start seeing that. Because this is usually the way it goes. It'll go New York does it, LA does it, then Chicago. And the people in Chicago don't know how to control themselves, and then it spreads throughout the Midwest. You want an example of it? How about you look at the fact that Chicago, they love the Bears. Oh, we love the Bears. Well, now you got to drive to Indiana to watch the Bears. Because they don't take care of the things that people actually care about. It's just what government wants. What government wants, government gets, and to hell with the people. That's what it is. And it's happening more and more and more and more. And I want people to realize this is not the American system. This is not the way that it is supposed to go. So when you're getting frustrated about these things and you look at it and you go, this doesn't make any sense to me. This isn't the way America should be. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We've let big government run amok because we're worried about celebrities. We're worried about what they might think. We're worried about if they're going to be upset about something because that's what trends. That's what trends. And my biggest problem with the socialist and a commie is not what they believe. It's the fact that they don't even know what they believe because they go with whatever is trendy. They go with whatever can get them into somebody's head. They'll always agree with you. They'll always want you to say yes and, oh my, it was so beautiful. And, oh, it was a moment. You should have seen the moment, right? It was a beautiful moment, right? It was just so beautiful. And they appeal to that emotional grift. This is why when I talk about Candace and I talk about like a Nick Fuentes, those kind of guys and gals, they really are. They're right on that borderline of commie socialist. They truly are. Because if you have common sense, you understand that things take balance. If you don't, you believe that something should just have full control because you don't believe you can make your own decisions. That's what we're seeing in these areas. That's what we're seeing with these commies and these socialists come in. They don't think you can make the right choice. The same way, we look at the city of Cleveland. I would ask the people who live in Cleveland, do they want a 15-minute city? No. The politicians know what's best. They don't. They're so wrapped up in this idea that they had, and because they were elected and because they're government, they must be right. That's what this turns into. They want, they're too busy trying to be front row at a Knicks game if you're in New York. Or they're too busy playing on the NBA All-Star team when they're in town. We have politicians. The problem with socialism and communism is that they know that their policies won't win elections. So they just have to try to become popular through social media and pop culture. Remember Barack Obama hanging out with the ESPN brackets and going on Jay Leno? Thank you for having me, Jay. Remember that? What were the policies? I mean, really, what were the policies that he upheld? It was nothing. You talked about free college, free healthcare. College is more expensive now. Healthcare is more expensive now. And we don't know what bathroom we're allowed to use. But because he was a pop culture icon, quotations, he won elections because their policies aren't worth a damn. So they feel like they have to build up their credibility with clicks, retweets, and people watching on TV or watching online. That's where we're at. So we got to be careful. We really have to be careful with who we hoist up because they have a lot of followers. This is the Jake Underwood Show. When we come back, we'll talk about how Larry David was disappointed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'll play the he was asked a question about the UFC fight at the White House. I'll play his response. When we come back, this is the Jake Underwood Show. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer, 102.9 FM. Or if you want to watch the stream, find us on Rumble or X. We're talking about just how big government starts to spread. Also, shout out to the people in Paynesville that are out there with their signs and everything this morning. Cheryl, yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to them because they're doing the same thing that the people in East Cleveland were doing. They're trying to hold the government accountable. When government gets too big, our voices get too small, and the accountability goes away because nobody's there to hold them in check. Because if you have big government, tell me if you've heard this one before. If you have big government, the media doesn't really work. They don't really do what they're supposed to do, which is keep the government in check. They don't. They go along with the narrative so they can be a part of the pop culture friendliness too. And they can all go to their fancy little parties and go get interviewed by Vanity, and they can have the actors put on their serious tone and talk about how sad they are. And, of course, I'm talking about Larry David. Larry David, of course, you know, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld. He does a lot of stuff like that. See, and the thing is, I've heard nothing but nice things about Larry David. Mm-hmm. Like, as a person, like, he's very friendly and stuff. But this is a terrible take from Larry David. But the actor is acting. The same with Robert De Niro, you know. When the people when these socialists and commies decide that they need a new opinion, they find the celebrity that agrees with them, and they just carry the same tone and do the same thing as they do. So this is Larry David. He was asked about the UFC fight on the White House lawn. This is what he had to say.
And this is your way of celebrating America. The White House did it much differently with the UFC fight. What did you think about that?
It was a travesty. Yeah.
Oh.
What else can you say about it? It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to be an American.
Oh.
And this
that's what that yeah.
What?
It was a travesty.
What?
That night I went to bed with one single tear coming down my cheek. Much like the Native American in the 80s commercials. I couldn't handle life that day, and I was so sad, so very sad. Now, excuse me while I go to the premiere of my latest movie so everybody can make me more money. Excuse me, but it was a travesty for this country. I was embarrassed, really. I couldn't handle it. I cried. And then I wrote a poem. It's so manufactured. It's just so fake. And first of all, the guy that's interviewing him is Kermit the Frog, so I'm glad he found some work. But, like, just listen one more time, and I want you to hear the switch up in his tone. And oh. I'm so sad. And the people will go, oh, it really affected Larry. Larry's real upset. You think Larry cares if you're upset? I don't think Larry cares if I'm upset. I don't think Larry David gives a damn what I have to say right now. Let's hear it one more time.
And this is your way of celebrating America. The White House did it much differently with the UFC fight. What did you think about that?
It was a travesty.
Oh.
Yeah.
What else can you say about it? It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to be an American. Yeah.
Everybody hurts. Like, of all the things in this country that are going on, that's what upsets you. Not the people that are coming over the border undocumented that are being taken advantage of by coyotes and all these different things. That's what upsets you. A UFC event on the White House lawn. That's what upsets you. Not the fact that you live in California. You see riots. You see fires. You see homeless people on the streets. Sidewalks so filthy that they're black. They look like charcoal. Like they look like blacktop. It was the UFC fight that really upset you, huh, Larry? Was that it? And this is the problem. These people, these socialists and communists that are trying to make their way into our system and sitting there going, oh, no, well, I'm not really that. I'm embarrassed like Larry David. Did you hear what Larry David said? I feel the same way. I am. I'm just so hurt. I can't believe that they would do this. It's the White House. It's the house that is white, that the president lives in. And what do? They say it that way so you can go, oh, because you're going to react. You're going to react, whether it's going to be, oh wow, I hear a sad tone. I too am sad. Or you're going to go, what is this? This guy's an idiot. But what I mean by that reaction, it's the new AOC. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to butcher her name, and I apologize now. Kenny, if you know the name that I'm talking about, please feel free to correct me. Daraliza Avila Chevalier.
I'm not 100% sure.
So we're going to call her DAC Okay?
Sure.
So DAC is the one that's been backed by Mondani. She's another one of these. We just have to do whatever, and we all come together as one for the community. And she's another one of these. That they'll do nothing. You know, there are protests outside of Mondani's house once or twice a week saying back the blue because they're seeing less and less and less police. And they're hearing Muslim chants in the streets of Brooklyn. They're played over a loudspeaker to remind people to start their praying. This is 5 times a day. I want you to remember. Now, what would happen, hypothetically, what would happen if a Christian church 5 times a day would blast a speaker in a neighborhood saying, Christ is king, give your life over to God now? People would lose their minds. But this is okay. Why? Because communism, because socialism, because we must get rid of all of the individuality, and we must all come together as one. And we blame the rich. How dare they make opportunity for themselves? Evil, evil men they are. And they just all go along with it because they've been beaten down by the government getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that they're like, it's like Stockholm syndrome. They don't realize it's the government that did this to them. So they want even bigger government. And I'll give you an example about how they all change their minds, going back to DAC. DAC is now a Muslim. DAC just a few years ago was somebody that was operating within a black queer feminist lens.
What?
Yeah, I'm quoting. And then she went on to say that she converted to Islam because of the grace and love and passion that her Muslim friends had for social justice. Another one of these movements that they know that if they say things with emotion, people will follow and they will walk right along and they will put their fist up and play that Macklemore song about how equal we have to be equal because I can't change even though I tried. TikTok was crazy in the 2020s. In 2020, Instagram, Facebook, all of them, those stupid videos of people just wanting to be involved so they don't get called a name.
Ugh.
So they just flip up their opinion the moment somebody they feel has influence, normally an actor, somebody who's popular in pop culture, has that real serious voice. And they start talking. Why do you think Robert De Niro? Robert De Niro can't act anymore. So why do you think he's going out there once or twice every few months and going, that Donald Trump, he's a real mean guy. I don't like him. F-bomb here. Oh, and what do people do? Robert De Niro said this. We all know that it's true. Like they just go along with whatever can make their opinion make sense. They're going to go along with it. And it's only going to get worse because they're starting to find success. So you're going to start seeing more. They're paid actors. Larry David is a paid actor. He was there promoting something. He was paid to be there. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was a script handed off to somebody. Allegedly. But I wouldn't be shocked. I know Robert De Niro's are scripted. So all of these people, if you were that embarrassed, why don't you run for office then? Go run for office. Do that. Just be on the lookout. That's all I'm saying. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're going to go to break. When we come back, Mike DeWine. I got sent this a few times last night, and we're going to talk about the veto of the GOP bill that would require photo ID for absentee ballots, and I'm going to tell you the path moving forward, what we need to focus on. And yeah, the answer is November, but I'm really going to tell you why. That and more when we return. This is the Jake Underwood Show.
happens here in Cleveland and across Ohio matters more. That's what we talk about every day. This is the Jake Underwood Show on AM 1420. The Answer.
Hello and good morning. Welcome into hour number 2 of the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420. The Answer, 102.9 FM, or if you want to watch and see what Kenny and I do behind the scenes, you can watch us on Rumble and X. Just search the Jake Underwood Show and you'll see that pop up there. As I said, I am Jake Underwood. Behind the glass is one Mr. Kenny. Kid, good morning, Kenny.
Yeah, good morning, Jake.
How's it going, Kenny?
Good. What was that?
I honestly, I'm really frustrated about the communism and the socialist stuff. So I'm
just making y'all tongue-tied.
A little bit, yeah. And it's one of those where I'm like, all right, I gotta talk about other stuff because I could talk about the dangers of that all day, every day.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it just, whoa, man.
We never leave.
Man, it's something. It's scary stuff, man. It really is. It's scary stuff. And it's something else that's scary, and a lot of people are frustrated about it to the point I brought it up to Kenny, and he goes, what is he doing? And then, of course, we're talking about Governor Mike DeWine vetoing the GOP bill to require photo ID for absentee voting. The weird thing is I saw the bill itself, when it first passed, I saw mixed reviews on it, but I was like, all right, it passed, so be it. I don't necessarily know what people were upset about. I think a lot of people felt, and they had the mindset of, well, it's already pretty safe. So what Mike DeWine's saying here, it's something that I saw repeated on social media and stuff, but it is odd. It is very odd that you just wouldn't want that extra layer of security, because that's the main thing to me, is that this makes it more secure. It's not just, it's not just a talking point. That's the best way I could say it. It's not just a talking point. You need elections to be secure. You need people to be able to have the confidence to know that when they go vote for the person that they want to lead the state, the city, the county, whatever it might be, they need to know that the person that is taking that position has been elected. They have to know that their votes are actually counting. They need to know that it is a legitimate election. And now, unfortunately, because if you're on the left, you're going to say, well, it's only the right that's claiming it. It's not true. If you're on the right, you remember 2016. Mm-hmm. You remember they claimed Russia and all these other things. Like Putin was sitting there himself, just hacking away into these systems going, we could not let Hillary win. It will be the end of Russia. No.
It's been going on since elections started. I mean, I could remember back to 2000.
Right.
Gore, Bush.
Correct.
Everyone on the left. Oh, they rigged it. Bush stole it. Not my president. He stole it. They've been doing it back and forth the entire time. It's both parties.
I mean, and really think about it. I mean, to the point, if you really want to dive into how long this has been going on, Fahrenheit 9/11. Let's talk Michael Moore. Well, if Fox News said it, it must be true. And then everybody ran with it, and then George Bush won. So the narrative of fraud and elections being rigged, that's been out there for a very long time. So either way, you have to make it secure. Why do you think the Save America Act, why do you think 83% of Americans support it? It's because it's a problem on both sides. When it starts to become an issue that people want to argue about, it's about which candidate stole what. That's the only time that people are mad about it. But I think majority of people agree, yeah, the elections, I don't know that they're secure. I like to make them more secure. And Mike DeWine said, no, not exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've got a lock on your door, the handle lock. You could have a deadbolt, too.
Yeah.
But no, we don't need it. We've got that lock down there. Why would we need a deadbolt as well? How many people have both? Everyone.
Well, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you want that extra security?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right. It's just for people to truly believe in it, and for people to have faith in this system. See, this is the problem that bothers me. This is the part of it that really just it doesn't sit right with me, because people don't believe in it. They don't believe that there's integrity with it. They don't believe that what they're actually putting down on the ballot is what's being counted. And that's a really big problem in a system where that's how you put the people who need to be in charge. Like, it's really that simple. Like, the fact that, and Mike DeWine was quoted on this, and the quote comes from Signal, Ohio, where he said that the bill is not needed because Ohio does an excellent job running elections. We know who wins on election night, not 2 weeks later. DeWine said that the state has strong voter ID requirements already for in-person voting, and that he has seen no evidence that requiring a photocopy of a photo ID for absentee ballots would significantly improve election integrity.
What?
This is where, man, some of these, they got to put term limits on it. They got to do something, because when I think of old people that just don't know what's going on, I think of Mitch McConnell.
They don't get it.
And I think of Mike DeWine.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I've interviewed Mike DeWine before. He's a nice guy. So this is nothing.
I bet he's nice.
Yeah, this is nothing personal against him. But if you don't want the job, then don't take the job. You shouldn't have taken it. The stuff with the death penalty. You got the stuff with this now. He doesn't want to sign. Whether he likes it or not, the House passed this stuff. The State House passed this stuff. That means that it is what the people who are representing us said, yep, this is it. This is what they want. That's what that means, whether he likes it or not. Now, this is the argument that I would make, because this does not mean, and I don't think anybody said this, but I just want to make it clear, we will still have the constitutional amendment on the ballot in November. We absolutely will. And the governor cannot veto that. Even though he might want to, he can't do it. So it doesn't stop the constitutional amendment from being put on the ballot. We got to make sure we get out here and vote, and this is why. Because then at that point, if we make it constitutional, if we make it an amendment in the state constitution that you have to have an ID when you vote, I would make the argument, and I think it can be made, that then you would need an ID, a photo ID, to submit a mail-in ballot. The argument can be made then, but that's even more security. That when do you decide that you need a gun? When do you this is what I would ask Mike DeWine. When do you decide that you need protection? When do you decide? Is it when a crime already happened, or do you walk through a crowded group of people, especially as a politician? Do you wait until the threat happens, or do you try to prevent the threat? When do you start to have the initiative to go, yeah, I know this isn't a problem now, but this is something that could be a problem. Let's go ahead and move forward with this. Let's make it as safe as possible. Do you wait? Do you wait until something bad happens and then you react?
That's not really leadership.
No, it's not. It's reactionary, and it doesn't get anything done.
No, leadership is you foresee what a problem could be, and then you take steps to try to prevent that from being an actual problem.
Right. I'll tell you, I'm real sick and tired of hearing about the absentee voters. He said that he believes it would burden the absentee voters. I'll read that quote to you when we come back. It's got to do, some certain groups raised concerns, all these different things. We're talking about it. Mike DeWine, he vetoed. He vetoed the voter ID for absentee voting. So let us know what you think. The number's 216-901-0945, or feel free to text in 866-525-0955. We will be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer 102.9 FM. Or if you want to watch Kenny and I behind the scenes, we're on Rumble and X. I still want to say Twitter. It's Twitter, X, whatever. Yeah, we're there. We do have some text to get to. Let's see here. Somebody texted in and said, does the photo ID guarantee that people on the ID actually filled out the ballot? Nope. At best, it proves the person who obtained the ballot is alive. And I know to some they'd say, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Actually, though, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I would like to know that, the people that are voting are alive. Because, and it's a joke, but when you look at some of the voter rolls around the country, dead people vote. We see it.
Well, and it's not a guarantee, and it's, you can always forge a signature, and, but it makes it harder to do it. And why wouldn't you want to make things harder for criminals?
Right. As somebody texts in and says, sounds like he's trying to help his friend Amy out.
Yeah.
I tell you, that's from the 216. Listen, you know what?
I can't argue that.
It's something that crossed my mind. It is something that crossed my mind. And, here's, oh, man, and I don't want to sound heartless when I say this. I really don't. But, people, I'm really sick and tired of this would affect the absentee voters. Well, then make a plan. Make a plan to do something. Make a plan. Figure out how to go vote. Carpool.
We have early voting.
That's correct.
It's not like I'm out of town the day of the election.
Right. Like, if you can't show up somewhere to vote, unless obviously if you're overseas, if you're in the hospital, something like that.
Yeah, there should always be exceptions.
Right.
Military, absolutely.
Then I get it. Like, I understand that. But it's just kind of this blanket. I don't think that there are that many people that are voting that are in a hospital or military. I don't. I don't think that it's this overwhelming number that makes people go, oh, but what about the absentee voters? I don't think that percentage is that big. Now, with that said, I don't know it off the top of my head. But if the percentage was that big, we would hear it repeated to us constantly. That's how I know it's not that big. But if you can't figure out in a month how to get to a place, they're usually open, are they weekdays? So 5 days a week, 25, 27, 20.
And then once you get closer to the election, they're open on weekends as well.
Right. So if you can't figure out how to get somewhere and you have 25 to 30 opportunities to get there, that's on you, and you really didn't want to do it. We can't we can't keep bending over backwards for the people who really don't care. That's what this is. Yeah, Governor DeWine said the new requirements would make voting by mail more difficult, particularly for seniors and others who rely on absentee voting. He also referred to concerns raised by groups such as AARP. He went on to say that he noted that the bipartisan county boards of election told him the measure was added to another bill at the last minute and passed very quickly, giving little time to evaluate how it would work administratively. Okay, so those are two different things that they're talking about there. So those are two completely different points. It sounds like, one, they wouldn't be, the administration, the people at the county boards, the bipartisan county boards of election told him they wouldn't know how to handle it. They wouldn't know how to go about handling that, which is a problem within itself. But okay, all right. That doesn't mean that you veto it. And then he's worried about seniors and others who rely on absentee voting, and concerns were raised by AARP. What?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Like, what are we talking about here? Like really? What are we doing? Like, it's so then at that, I'll tell you what. Why don't we no voting spots at all? Everybody make sure that you're home on election day by 1 to 7 o'clock, and they're going to go neighborhood to neighborhood. They're going to knock on the door, and they're going to have it's going to be like an ice cream truck, but you're going to vote. And they're going to have just Yankee Doodle Dandy playing on the speaker, and they're going to go from door to door. And they're going to go, oh yeah, you want a Democrat or Republican ballot? Oh, independent are we? Oh, well, here's your nonpartisan ballot, and then you'll fill it out. And then they'll have a sucker or a sticker. You can't get both because we can't spoil the voter. So one of the two, which one do you want? And then you know what they'll do? They'll put the sticker on if you ask for the sticker, and then they'll take a picture of you. They'll take a picture of you, and then they're going to post on social media, and it's going to say, so-and-so voted today, and then you can retweet it. So everybody gets involved. Everybody. And that way, you know what? Don't even check IDs. If they open the door when you get to the house, you could say, oh, well, clearly you live here. Clearly you live here. That's why you open the door. Have squatters vote. Have everybody vote. Just so it's so easy for everyone to be able to do it because democracy.
That'll really help the vacant housing problem, right?
Yeah, no, because absentee voters, they might not be able to make it there in the month and a half that they have. They might not be able to do it.
We can't. We've got to stop bending over backwards for people who really don't care.
Listen, it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's I would say this to parents too, because some of these issues that are going on with the schools and stuff. If parents said no, they'd be solved real quick, but they don't, and that's fine. We just have to continue to fight it, I guess. I don't know what else we could do, but it's okay to say no. Well, that's not fair. Yeah. No, you're right, and we're sorry that it's not fair.
Tough.
But we can't continue to do this. We can't. 83% of Americans want the Save America Act to pass. That tells me this is nonpartisan. It's right down the middle. We don't agree on anything. When it comes to safe elections and secure elections, this is something that we agree on. But Governor Mike DeWine, he goes, no, ARP called me and said that there's a good chance that some people might not be able to make it. So we have to make sure that we give them the opportunity to do it. And that photo ID, I mean, some people, they could get confused by it. What if they don't know how to work a scanner? This is the problem with it. This is the issue. So what the people want, more secure elections. And we've wanted it for a while now. I mean, this isn't something that's new. They don't even know how to take care of it in the administration. These what was it? The wording, the nonpartisan county boards of elections told him the measure was added, blah, 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 blah. Oh, here it is. Giving little time to evaluate how it would work administratively.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Hey, I'll give you an example. You want an example of how you got to figure things out on the fly? Let's go back to Tuesday. Remember Tuesday when the internet stopped working here? You know what we did? We worked anyways. What? Or how about when, somebody's driving and they're a delivery truck driver and a tire blows? Oh, how could they handle that? Oh, gee, you mean things happen? Things can happen throughout work and rules can change? I'll tell you, there's another station here in town. People planned on going on work to work today, and they didn't. They got a phone call. It happens everywhere. Things change every single day with administrative decisions. But because you don't think you can handle it, I know it would be real hard for the state to be able to sit there and look at an ID and go, hold on, look at the computer screen. That seems right. All right, check that off. That's good. Okay.
Address matches, name matches, signature matches. Okay.
No, the problem is their AI program wouldn't be able to recognize something. So they'd have to hire people. Goodness forbid that we offer good paying jobs to people. That'd be crazy.
And for heaven forbid that these people actually go through a bit of training. So you got something new at work. Oh, you've got to train how to do it. Tough. Learn how to do it.
No,
it's not hard.
No,
Learn
Kenny,
how to do it and fix it. There you go.
Kenny, it's not fair because these people, they don't want to have to go up to the Board of Elections to vote.
Why not?
I'll tell you why. It's the same thing that I brought up with the SAVE Act, where I said I don't think it's strict enough. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's strict enough. I think they need to just go through and look, re-register.
Yeah,
we're this concerned. We're this concerned about all of this. Go re-register. Have it until 28. You got until 28 to re-register. You got 2 years to re-register. If you don't, then you really don't want to vote that bad. If you can't find time in 2 years, what are we doing here? And when I said that, I received messages on Facebook. That would be such an inconvenience. Why do I have to re-register? I shouldn't have to re-register. Do you want safe elections? Yeah. So then you'll have to re-register. No, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. I can't believe it.
What?
How do we expect to have... Look, when new safeguards are put in place, they also apply to the people who were following the rules. It's just the way that it works. It's just life. You can't sit here and be upset about it.
It's not hard to register to vote to begin with.
No, but people don't want to be inconvenienced. And if voting is an inconvenience for you, maybe you don't deserve the right to vote. How dare you? You know, when we were talking about gas prices, people brought up what they do during World War II. Well, what they do during World War II to get you that right to vote. Maybe vote on time and make sure you make it a priority. If you're somebody complaining, going, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that I have to do this," then maybe, you know what? Maybe you need to put things in perspective for yourself. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're going to continue to talk about Mike DeWine, and it's not all doom and gloom. I know we make it sound like it is. I'm going to tell you why when we come back. This is the Jake Underwood Show. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer, 102.9 FM, or free if you want to watch the stream. We're on Rumble or X. Just search the Jake Underwood Show. You'll see it pop up there. We're talking about the veto. Mike DeWine vetoing the GOP bill that would have required photo ID for absentee voting. People are mad. I'm a little mad. It doesn't make any sense, the reasoning that he gave. Well, because this get in the way of people voting. Well, that's kind of, yeah, it's a restriction on something. So, yeah, it's going to. Yeah, we're going to make it more secure, so it's going to feel like there's restrictions on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right, Governor. Good job, Mike. Go get one of those brownies, buddy. You go to the kitchen. Franny made a fresh batch for you. You did real good, pal, real good. Go talk about the Reds some more. I want to point out that the fight's not over. And this is kind of what I referred to before. We still have the constitutional amendment on the ballot in November where we could vote to get this put on and make it an amendment in the Constitution itself. So it would be unconstitutional according to the state constitution. We would have to have voter ID. Now, the reason, and I know that you're probably like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything when it comes to the voter IDs for absentee ballots. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but it does give the argument a fighting chance, because then at that point you can say, well, now hold on. Somebody texted and said, can you say rhino? But it does give it gives you the argument, and it gives people in the State House the argument where they could go, look, I understand this was vetoed before, because I'll tell you right now, if Amy Acton wins and they try to pass something like this, she's going to do the same thing. She's going to deny it. She's going to come up with all these different reasons. And if this ballot initiative, this constitutional amendment that's put on the ballot, if that doesn't pass, then she's right. She's right. She's 100% correct. No matter how wrong she could be, legally and according to the law, she is right. But if we get enough people to go out in November and vote and get this put on the ballot, get this put in the Constitution, where it's actually required an ID according to the state constitution, then you could just make the bill by itself. Hey, you're mailing in a ballot, we need to see your photo ID. Then at that point, if she goes to veto it, you can have people go, whoa, no, your veto, you're not allowed to do that. It's against the Constitution. It says it requires ID. Now, they could probably still veto it, but an argument can be made.
And it makes it harder.
And then at that point, then we can, we can put on our hats and go talk about how she doesn't honor the Constitution. But if we get enough people to go vote in November, Amy Acton will probably not be an issue. Then we have a vake, and then we can start moving forward with things. But this is crazy. That's how I feel about this. I mean, really, I don't understand. You have people time and time again saying, I want my elections to be safe. I want to know that my vote is who I voted for. I want to know that my vote counts just as much as the person who voted after me, not getting canceled out by people who aren't allowed to vote. I'll tell you, even something else for the mail-in ballots. Why don't we do this? Why don't we make it so that every year, at some point throughout the year, you just have to go up there and verify. Yep, I'm me. This is my ID.
You got a year to do it.
No, that's an inconvenience. How security? I don't want security. I want convenience.
Look, if you view our constitutional republic and our freedoms as an inconvenience, I don't want you voting. You have no business voting.
Yeah.
You really have no business voting. If it's inconvenient for you to go and vote, then don't vote.
Somebody texted in and said, the old folk volunteer in Geauga County do a pretty fast and efficient job checking my ID when I stroll in, and they do it for free. Well, they do have some bad jokes, but that's a small price to pay. It's very funny. Thank you for the text, John. But yeah, listen, for convenience, you're going to give... for security, you're going to give up some convenience. Now, it's important to make sure that you're not giving up freedom as a part of that convenience. And I don't know that this is, because if this was over the top and absolutely ridiculous, then yeah, I'd be like, no, this is crazy. But you have to make sure that things are secure. I don't understand how the election stuff, how it's even a question. After Kenny brought it up, 2000, I mean, there were elections back in the 1800s that this stuff was happening. So it's always been happening. The ones that obviously we know off the top of our heads because it was within the last 10 years is 2016, Russiagate, everybody freaking out about that. So you got the left saying, hey, cheated, elections aren't secure. And then you got 2020 where they say that Biden, with the elections, then you got people on the right going, the elections are not secure. So you have both sides that believe that elections are not secure. You have the opportunity at the federal and the state level now here in Ohio to make sure that it's something that we take care of. It's an issue that we do what we need to do. DeWine says no. Luckily, the people, us, we know what we want, so we just need to make sure that we go vote. That's really what it comes down to here. I mean, this is a very important election. I know every election you're going to hear, probably at the time, when it's really coming up, we're going to have the sweepers. They go, the most important election ever.
And you know what? It lately, it always has been. Yeah, it has been.
This one's pretty important, especially if we're talking about potential changes to the state constitution. This one's pretty important. And we're talking about governor. We're talking about almost every major position in the state for statewide offices up for grabs. So this one is pretty important. Federally, it is what it is. Sorry, but it is what it is. They don't know what they're doing. They're all over the place. They just are. And you know what? That's kind of the way their system is now. That's just kind of the way that it goes. It's nothing personal against people that are there, but it's a system of chaos, so that's what it's become. But here in Ohio, we don't need it to be like that. So if you're one of the 83% that sit there and go, you know what, something needs to be done about this, make sure you vote in November. That's really the way that we fix all of this. Put it into the state constitution, then you have a fighting chance. It's not in the state constitution. I'm going to tell you the way that this will go. If you put it in the state constitution, or if it doesn't make it in there, you're going to have people go, yeah, people don't really care about it. And they're just going to walk away from it. And then you're not going to have the votes that you need. It's just that they're going to move on to whatever the next culture war issue is that people want to sit there and scream and yell about and get a bunch of hashtags and likes, tweets, and follows. That's how that's going to go. So if this doesn't pass in November, you had your opportunity. Don't know what to tell you. That's really the way that this is going to. That's the way this is going to go. You're not going to get this on the ballot again. We're lucky that it's on the ballot now. Why? Because you see things get vetoed. So we're lucky that it's on there to actually make it a concrete amendment where you can go, no, 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 don't you dare. You need to do this.
And this guy's supposed to be on our side. He's supposed to be on our team, Team Red, right?
Well, no, you want to know the crazy thing. Imagine if the people that he ran against won.
I know. That's the hardest part. Hey, that's why primaries are so important. I say it every single time, and too many people just take them for granted.
Well, also, and this is going to be a little bit of a criticism of President Trump. Take a breath and hear me out here. Right? It also comes down to President Trump's endorsement. He endorsed DeWine every time. And we know that President Trump, had he not endorsed DeWine, he probably wouldn't have won. Just saying.
I don't know.
I love the president.
Yeah, but
voted for him 3 times.
When were those endorsements? Were they before or after the primary?
They were before.
Before the primary.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I'm just saying. Let's see here. Oh boy, we got a lot of texts coming in, and they're getting lost in the shuffle here. The left is collectively aware of minimizing questions of cheating, minimizes their chances of winning. That's from Don in Lakewood. Don, well said. Well, just corruption. It's corruption. It's the same as the fraud. That's just it. All of this goes hand in hand. Fraud is fraud. So if we want to talk about cracking down on fraud, let's crack down on all fraud. Voter fraud, money fraud, welfare fraud, whatever fraud there is, let's just crack down on it. Honestly, when we take it out of the categories and we just put it under fraud, there's a lot of it. And there's a lot that makes people question the system. That's my problem with all of this. There are easy ways to fix this. And we need to make sure people are secure in the system, because here's the thing. The system relies on the people. If the people lose confidence in the system, then the system's done. We have to have confidence in it because we're the ones in charge of it. Yeah, we elect the representatives and the president and all those people, but we're the ones making the choice. Or at least we should be. That's why we want the voter IDs installed. That's why we want that to be a thing. Man, it's just this weird ongoing circle.
It's baffling.
It really is. Like when you're able. I had the nicest compliment, and then I know we got to go to break. I had the nicest compliment last Saturday. Somebody told me, they said, I like the way that you're able to see how everything's kind of connected. And it really is. Like, fraud is fraud. It doesn't matter if it's, I'll tell you, fraud is fraud. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. It doesn't matter if it's election or welfare. It's fraud. It's fraud. And it's wrong. And it needs to be cracked down on. I don't care who's cheating in what election. Even if the person that I wanted to win happens to win by, I don't care. Then they didn't win. They didn't win. Fraud is fraud. We gotta end it. November, getting that initiative on the ballot, getting that amendment in the Constitution is a good way to make sure that we're heading in the right direction, and to make sure that Amy Acton, shut down Amy, isn't the governor. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I have an announcement. Somebody texted me yesterday. I just remembered. It popped in my head, and I want to make sure that I let people know about this because it's a big deal. This is Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420. The Answer. I am Jake Underwood. The man behind the glass picking the music is one Mr. Kenny. Kid, hello there, Kenny.
Hey.
How's it going, Kenny?
Good. On this Thursday.
On this Thursday, June 25th, 2026. The announcement I want to make, as I said, I should have said it a little bit earlier, but just got wrapped up in the whole, fighting communism thing. But Congressman Max Miller, he is standing with Representative Anna Paulina Luna and saying, I'm not voting for anything until we get the SAVE Act.
Good.
Which, the Save America Act. So, Congressman Max Miller, and, we'll ask him about that on Monday. I get it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It frustrates me that it has to get to this point because for a few reasons. I think it's fair to say, we talk to Max once a week on air. I think it's fair to say that there's a lot that he wants to get done. And the fact that they got a lot of people in the House now have to play this little game where they're going to vote no because the Senate doesn't want to pass this thing. It's pretty frustrating. It's kind of dumb.
It's very dumb.
It's just a waste of time. It's not.
Look, when you have something that is so that the American people are so behind 80, what is it, 83, 87?
Yeah.
Over 80% of America wants this, and you're playing games with it. Get it done.
That's what's really rubbing me the wrong way with this. That's what's really bothering me with this because here in Ohio, people want the voter ID stuff. And it just makes sense. They want it to get done. They want it to be done at the federal level. Let's see here. Somebody texted in. They asked a question. They said, does Ohio purge the voter rolls on a regular basis? What I mean is maybe once a year, compare the registration list to a list of people who died that year. Do people who haven't voted in a number of years get automatically dropped? Okay, so my understanding with this, because I read this before and I double checked it, and so this is actually from it came out in March. This is from the Ohio Secretary of State website. This is the General Voter Records Maintenance Program. All right, so this is my understanding. They regularly check the death records. They cross-reference, make sure things are good. Felony convictions, they regularly from the state agencies. Address change, they check USPS. Duplicate registrations within Ohio, they double check. They do cross-reference for cross-state registrations and inactive voters, and that's every 2 years they check with the inactive voters. So they are doing a good job there. They are. And then they also followed up and said amending the Constitution should not be the mechanism to pass legislation. In 216, I agree with you. I'm not saying that's wrong, but what I am saying is that this is something that enough people are passionate about when it comes to the voter IDs and to make sure that these elections are secure, that it should be in the state constitution. Now, when it comes to passing something like the photo ID for the absentee ballots, then you have backing because it is in the Constitution. Maybe I made the mistake of connecting the two. First and foremost, I think it should be amended. It should be in the state constitution. I do believe that. We want to make sure that the people who are voting are who they say they are and that they are allowed to vote. We take voting for granted to the point that we in LA, illegals can vote now legally.
Insane.
They can vote now.
Absolutely insane.
We have different areas of this country that are going out of their way to make sure that people who don't live here, who don't pay taxes, who don't pay into the systems, who don't give time, who don't understand it, and who don't even have the rights to be here, they have a voice. It counts just as much as ours does. And that bothers me. That bothers me a lot, actually, because, people, we earn that. And I know that sounds weird to say that, but as Americans, we've earned that. Whether it's paying taxes, whether it's the people that have given the ultimate cost to freedom, whatever it might be, we've earned that, and they haven't. So at the very least, what I have to do to not spit in their face is show an ID to show that I'm allowed to do that thing that people have fought for and that we earned that right to vote, that right to hold our politicians accountable for the things that they do and to make sure that they do what we want them to do, we earn that. So if I got to show an ID to make sure that my vote counts and it's actually going towards who, what, or the cause that I want it to go to, I'm fine with that. And I think most people are fine with that. I think what we're doing is we're starting to nitpick because we all want it. So now it's one of these where we have to nitpick it. And that's how it's coming off. Like we're going to talk to AARP because some people might have a problem with it. Well, then work it out. Get a ride. You know, and I don't want to sound heartless when I say that. Obviously, there are going to be some people who are not able to do that. That's why they should have a year. Or you know what? Or go up to the board. Make it for everybody then, so it's fair. Make it for everyone. Make it that within the next 2 years, within 2 years, because that's the amount of time that people look at. They review every 2 years Ohio's inactive voters, and that's a part of the Ohio supplemental list maintenance process. So what you do is send the little postcard that says, "Hey, we just want to make sure that you're still registered to vote. If you could come in, we just want to double check, make sure you are who you say you are, and make sure your vote counts." So make everybody do it then.
What if we set up some sort of mobile voting booth that we can bring, that you can sign up, that they'll show up to your house, show up to your residence, verify your information. I mean, and maybe for seniors, maybe for, like not just for your lazy neighbor who don't want to get off their butt to go vote, but maybe for like seniors or someone who's,
But that's where that the danger with that is it becomes, well, why won't they come to my house? Well, then I don't need to vote at all. Or I don't need to go to vote at all. They could just come to my house, right? Why do they get to have somebody go to their house? Because people would rather have convenience than anything else.
I'm just saying, like for if we're looking at seniors who can't get to a voting booth, and that's the excuse. What if we set that up to where you actually have someone there verifying who they are? Or
what I would do is I would do it once. I would set it up over 2 years. Once or twice a month, people are going to go to your local library. We're going to have somebody from the Board of Elections there.
Something.
And they're going to have an iPad, and the same way that they check you in to make sure that, you can vote when you go to vote in person.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do that same type of check-in and go, all right, do you want to vote in person or do you want an absentee ballot this time? Oh, absentee? All right, we'll go ahead and not mark you down for that. So you will not be able to vote in person if you have that absentee ballot. And they'll go, yep, that's what I want to do. And they go, okay. That's how that should work. I would almost make the argument, if we want this to be really secure, like really secure, and it might even seem overboard, everybody should be doing that. You could go 120 days out from an election, go to your Board of Elections, and you go in there and they ask you, do you want to vote absentee or do you want to vote in person? I'm going to vote in person. All right, so you're not going to be able to vote absentee. All right, sounds good to me. Okay, this is where you vote. This is where it is. All right, election day, there you go. That's how that should be then.
I just don't understand why this is so hard and so complicated. It really doesn't need to be.
Because we have been able to vote for so long that people forgot how much of an impact it actually has. So they want it to be convenient more so. They want it to be more convenient, and they see it as an issue if it inconveniences them at any point in time.
Then don't vote. I mean, those are the kind of people that we
really
don't need voting. I mean,
but if I'm just saying. and I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, it is their right.
Well, it's
their right to vote.
Yeah.
So they can do it, but if it's that big of a problem for you, then don't do it. By all means, the last thing freedom should do is inconvenience you.
But just because it's a right doesn't mean it needs to be convenient. I mean, it's my right to own a gun. It's not convenient for me to go and buy one. So should they just give me one?
Hey, I like that argument. You know what? That needs to be next. Can we add that to the ballot in November? Can we do that? But yeah, the fight's not over. We just got to make sure we have people show up in November, get it put on the state in the state constitution, make it an amendment, and then we can start to form laws around that to make sure that it goes hand in hand with that, and to make sure that it's a rule. It's something that we stand on. So that's why I believe it should be an amendment. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're going to talk about NATO at the White House yesterday and the Trump trillions. If you didn't hear that clip, that's wild. We'll play that for you when we come back. This is the Jake Underwood Show.
National headlines matter, but what happens here in Cleveland and across Ohio matters more. That's what we talk about every day. This is the Jake Underwood Show on AM 1420. The Answer.
Welcome into the final hour of the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer, 102.9 FM. Or if you want to watch the stream, we're on Rumble and we're on X. Just search the Jake Underwood Show. You'll see it pop up there. I am Jake Underwood on this Thursday, June 25th, 2026. It's a beautiful year, 2026, in the greatest Cleveland area. Greatest Cleveland area. And I am Jake Underwood, the man behind the glasses with Mr. Kenny. Kid, hello there, Kenny.
Hi.
How's it going, Kenny?
Great.
We're getting in like the weeds on some stuff today, and I'm all right with it. I'm okay with it.
No, that's good.
This is the stuff that needs to be talked about. The voter ID stuff, the not holding government accountable stuff. Like it's something that has to be talked about. And real quick before we change subjects, because somebody texted and they asked a good question, and I double checked on this. So they asked, in LA, during an election with federal races, do the non-citizen voters get a ballot with those federal races, or do they get a ballot with just state and local races? That's a great question, because what happened in LA, once again, be on the lookout, because if it happens there, it can happen here. So what you need to do is be on a lookout for it. So what they did was LA City Council, they approved non-citizens to vote. It's going to become a ballot initiative. So it's something that could be voted on. Now, here's the problem. here's the issue, okay? We already know that there's a lot of election fraud in LA, okay? So now what you're doing is you're letting the people who potentially commit the fraud vote to be allowed to commit the fraud.
But wait a minute. Don't they have voter ID to know who's... Oh, they don't.
No.
So they don't even know who's voting.
No. So now, with that said, when they register, I want to make sure people know this. When they register, they have to either give the last four of a social security number,
okay,
or a like driver's license number. They do have to do that when they register.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but the problem is that they are made up. They are fake. They are not real. That's the issue. So the council itself, so it's going to be on the ballot. The people that I talked to in LA, because this was approved about a week ago, the people that I talked to in LA, literally, I go, well, what do you think is going to happen? And they go, they're already voting. Like that wasn't the issue.
This is going to pass with overwhelming numbers.
Well, that's the funny thing. They tell me it's either going to pass with overwhelming numbers or it's going to fail miserably, because they want to continue the fraud. They want to continue to just dump votes and nobody knows where they came from. So either way, the fraud's already happening. And that's what the people are upset about, which is yes. Now, to answer your question, we don't know yet. When it comes to, would they receive a state ballot that just has state and local issues on it, or would it be an all-encompassing federal and state? We don't know yet, because that hasn't really been drawn out, because it's a ballot initiative, and on November 3rd is when we'll find out for sure. But yeah, there's no finalized system yet, so we don't know.
It would have to be a separate ballot. I'm just saying it would have to, because then, according to this law, if it passed, it would be illegal for them to vote in federal. They'd only be allowed to vote locally. So if they got a ballot that had federal elections on it, that would be illegal.
Yeah.
So, which, again, I don't think this passes based on what you just said.
Yeah.
To where, maybe it doesn't pass because they want to continue the fraud.
Yeah, it's very odd.
That would take a huge voting block away from their federal elections.
So pass it. Do it. Absolutely. Yes. Let them know. But yeah, see,
either way, it's messed up.
But here's the thing, and this is, and to that texter, that's a great question. And I'm sorry, but I can't give you a straight answer on it. And you know what? That's kind of the way they want it to be. They want it to be something that's confusing. There's no finalized system put in place because you don't know. Because the more confused people get about the stuff, the more they're going to be able to do whatever they want. That's the craziest part about all of this. It's just government doing whatever they want because people are confused about it.
Well, that's how we got abortion on demand.
I know.
In Ohio, because
they
confused everyone.
That was such a yeah.
What a debacle!
And I'm going to be honest. I don't even remember if you were supposed to vote yes or no. Now,
at this point, I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I remember it was all over the place, and it threw a lot of people off. But they know that if they confuse you and you're not sure what to vote or how to vote or what to do, they know they can just do whatever. They know that. So they're just going to keep doing it. But also with the stuff in L.A., this way, because it passed 10 votes to 5, this way they could go, well, we put it on the ballot and we let the people decide. But if the problem is that the people are already voting, we'll see. We'll take a look and we'll see. It's so odd. It really is just all of it. All right, let's talk a little bit about NATO. Because the Secretary General for NATO, he was in town at the White House yesterday, and they started talking about stuff. And it's an interesting clip. It's an interesting discussion because he starts talking about the Trump trillion. And I'm like, I saw it trending for a little bit. When you're on X and it'll say trending for you. I see Trump trillion, and I'm like, oh no, what happened? I start getting nervous. I'm like, what's the new thing they're putting out there? But it's a positive thing. He's talking about, you can see the increase. Well, it's positive, but I think there's a reasoning why, which is goofy, but there's an increase in what is it? The Europeans and the Canadians paying for defense since 2017. It's an increase. And this is how he breaks it down.
Is about the Trump trillion. The Trump trillion shows you the increase Europeans and Canadians are paying into defense since you took office in 2017. Trump 45 plus Trump 47. A total of extra spent by the Europeans and the Canadians of 1.2 trillion. When you look at the effect of Trump 47, so the isolated effect of the extra defense spending in 2025 and in 2026, you see almost $140 billion extra spent nominal on.
So the total was 1.7 trillion a year in total since his first, what did he say, 104 trillion spent? I believe that's what he said. That audio isn't the best.
Extra defense spending in 2025 and in 2026, you see almost $140 billion extra spent nominal.
So $140 billion spent.
Extra.
How
That's
about
awesome.
That? Now.
Good.
Well,
let's keep it up.
Well, hold on. It is good, but it's the reason why they think we're going to do something dumb.
Well, hey.
That's what I thought.
Wild card.
Right. Right.
You had a wild card in the mix. You got to prepare for everything, and that makes everyone better.
Yeah, because I started thinking about that. I'm like, that might be why that spending's gone up like that, is because they think, he's going to do some goofy stuff, which is fine. It is what it is. By all means, have the accountability there, because the United States cannot keep paying for everybody's defense. We can't do it. We can't afford it. We cannot afford it anymore. And also, he spoke on Iran. He gave kind of like a difference of opinion on Iran, and from what we've been hearing, and the reason why I say it's different is because this is obviously somebody who doesn't live in the United States. So to hear that different perspective is important, and here it is.
A few things I want to share with the media, with you being here at present, and it's about your leadership. First of all, about Iran. I really want to make clear how important it is what you are doing on Iran. This is, first of all, about the nuclear capability Iran was basically getting its hands on. And it would have been a threat to the region, it would have been a threat to the whole world. This is a country which is exporting chaos, it is exporting terrorism, and they were very near to getting their hands on a nuclear capability. You've seen last week with the G7, all the leaders in the G7 applauding the fact that this nuclear capability has been degraded. This is extremely
And he goes on to basically say thank you, because everybody who's in the region that's around Iran, they know just how dangerous it was. And look, I know I've been critical of it. A lot of people have. I've always said I understood why. I hated the effects of it. But we're starting to see people are coming out and going, thank you, because of this and this and this and this and all these different reasons. If it was a little hard to understand because he has got a little bit of an accent, I will read the transcript when we come back of just what he said and the thank yous that he gave to not only the president but also the country, because we're doing it too. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're going to take a break. We'll break that down when we come back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer 102.9 FM, or if you want to watch the stream, we're on X and Rumble. We're talking about NATO. NATO was at the White House yesterday, and the Secretary General, and he came out, and at one point they were starting to talk about Iran and all these different things, and he just came out and he said it, and I played the clip there. It's a little hard to understand. He's got a little bit of an accent, and it sounds like they weren't mic'd up the best. Which, what are we doing? Come on, White House. You know, let's get the media team on it. But he said, first of all, about the nuclear capability Iran was getting its hands on, it would have been a threat to the region. It would have been a threat to the whole world. This is a country which is exploiting chaos. exporting chaos, exporting terrorism, and they were very near to getting their hands on nuclear capability. So this is important that this was said, because this shows that not only was the United States saying this, but also now NATO is saying this. This seems to be an official position saying, hey, they were about to have it. Because that was the argument that we heard a lot. Well, the United States is saying this, and this time a year ago they were saying that they were nowhere near, and now they are. And then they start going back and forth, and people just start screaming and yelling, and they're going nuts. Well, now NATO's coming out, and I wouldn't exactly say that NATO is best friends with the United States with the way that they've gone back and forth on things. But on this, they seem to be like, yeah, you knew, yeah, we knew too, and they came together on this. It's important to remember, and look, I'm obviously I'm America First guy. I'm a nationalist. If you want to categorize me as that, I've been called that before. I'm a right-wing nationalist, and that's fine. Of course, I want America to be taken care of, and I want that to be the first priority, is to make sure that we're good. I don't want our money to be wasted on stuff like this, but I don't know that it's necessarily wasted if they were that close to having a nuclear weapon. I don't know that it's our time wasted if they were that close. If they were that close, then yeah, we would have to step in, because who else is going to? And you know what? If you want to say it's not our responsibility and that's not fair to us, I don't disagree with that. Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with that. But you know, when we've been around for 250 years, we have the responsibilities that we do. It happens. It happens. And when it does, we're the ones that have to step up and do it.
We have a moral obligation to do it. We really do. I mean, I don't like the fact that we have to be the world's police. I don't like that at all. But we have the ability to do it, so we've got a moral obligation to do it.
Yeah. Somebody texted and said, sad that many Americans do not understand or appreciate what good things America has achieved around the world. It takes foreign leaders to make this clear to us. Even more sad still is the fact that much of American media deliberately ignores the positive messages delivered by others. Your friend and brother in Christ from Liberty Valley Church, Dennis Polk. Dennis, thank you for the text. And he's right. He's absolutely right. You know, I think we all knew. We all knew that it was a positive thing. It was one of those where like, oh, we know it's the right thing to do. It's just we don't know how big of a risk it is. And that's ultimately what made people nervous about it. And what I mean by risk is, we don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know how many people we're going to have to send there. We don't know these things. So it's the fear of the unknown, and that's what we were scared of. And that's why I questioned things. Absolutely I did, because we're supposed to. Whenever something is done like this, we are supposed to question it. We can still support while questioning. Two things can be true at the same time. You can support what's going on, but you can also question it. You can do both, especially with something like a military action. Just because you question things doesn't mean you don't support the country. It seems like that was the feeling that some people had at the beginning of all of this, when people are going, I don't know how I feel about this. They're like, what do you mean you don't support? What? Huh? What are you talking about? Of course they support them.
Would you rather Kamala Harris?
Well, yeah, no, it's got nothing to do with Kamala Harris. The same way that when Joe Biden was in, it had nothing to do with President Trump. We can't use the same. We cannot turn around and use the arguments that they made.
I know you love that argument.
That drives me nuts. Oh, would you rather have Kamala Harris? I didn't say anything about Kamala Harris. Did you talk about Kamala Harris? We have to stop doing that. If we are truly better, like I know we are, than those people over there, then we have to start carrying ourselves like it. We have to start making the right arguments. We have to start having the right discussions with people. Bringing up Kamala Harris has nothing to do with the Trump administration. Absolutely nothing, besides the fact that she got walloped. That's about it. That's it. That's all. And she likes good news. I found a clip.
Oh.
We're debating putting it in the system, and if we do, I apologize. I feel real bad if we do, because it's a terrible clip. It's her just cackling and laughing. But you can support the cause of what they're doing and still question if it's the right thing. You absolutely can. It's called being aware, and especially with the way that things were changing as time was going on. But, it is nice to hear that even NATO is coming out. They're like, yeah, no, everybody was a little freaked out about what was going on over there. Everyone was a little freaked out about it. So, we did everything we could. And I thank the president for doing that. You have it, don't you?
We have what?
Do you have the clip?
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
Oh, that is Kamala Harris, who
Love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
Oh,
man, that could have been president. Like, real quick, because Kamala was brought up, so let me make this point. That's who you bring up every time. Well, would you rather Kamala be president? No, obviously not. But like, if we're going to hold the people who we like to the standard of Kamala Harris, then what are we doing?
And the fact that she is not our president right now is good news.
It is good news.
I love good news.
Me too.
Love good news.
Me too.
I just love good news.
I apologize. I know.
Sorry.
I know.
I can't stop doing
Love
it.
good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
Oh, man.
I can hear the static of people changing the station. Go, what is this? I know. No, that's whenever we have good news, just be ready to hear it. That's all. I'm just giving people the heads up. But it's yeah, you can criticize something and support it at the same time. I know, because we do it every football season, every baseball season. Like, and don't say, well, this is politics. That's a lot more serious than sports. I don't know. I would say with how we are fanatics about things, it's kind of the same thing. We're a fan we're a fan. So we're going to act fanatical about it. I don't know if that's a word, but we're fanatics about it. We absolutely are. It consumes us. We love talking about it. We love watching it.
It's way better than sports for you, actually, because you get involved.
You know what's going on. Listen, yesterday, the 250, the kickoff, which, by the way, I've confirmed this during the show. We've been going back and forth, and I'm so excited to talk to him. But we're going to have Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
At what did I say, 11:05?
I think 11:05 on Tuesday.
11:05 on Tuesday to talk about the events in America 250 and just everything going on with that. And I'm so excited about it, because that event last night was awesome.
It was really cool.
It was pretty cool.
It was really cool.
And President Trump went out there. Did they make it a little too political? Maybe.
You know what? But I
get
think,
it.
I think it was made political before the event by the other side.
With the people dropping out.
Who refused to do anything with it. This is supposed to be a celebration.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Our country, of our 250 years of independence. It's supposed to be a celebration of America, all of America.
Yeah.
Right, left, center, everyone.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a celebration of that. And you've got these leftists on the other side making it political by refusing to have any part of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I didn't think about that when I was watching. Well, and to be fair, yesterday when I was watching, not once did I, think of politics. I just thought, America, man, this is everybody. This is us coming together the way that it should be.
The president's own, the Marine Band. I mean, they sounded awesome.
Yeah, they did.
So
Although the
good.
Sweet Home Alabama wasn't great, but that's all right.
That's okay.
That's
Everything
okay.
else was pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
I didn't.
that's all right.
I didn't like that they took the boot out of Toby Keith's song.
Well, it's
one
the
part where he's
American
like,
way.
We'll put a boot somewhere.
Yes.
I didn't like that they took that out, but I get it.
Yeah, boots to cheeks.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna take a break. We come back. We'll continue talking about this a little bit. The Freedom 250 thing was awesome yesterday. I don't. Oh, somebody said that clip of Kamala creates such a pain behind my eyes.
Love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're gonna get a check on traffic, and we'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the final half an hour of the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420. The answer, we have to apologize, Kenny.
What?
Yeah. Someone said, Kielbasa, you're stabbing my frontal lobe.
What? What are you talking about?
And someone else texted in. They said, we used to like you and Kenny until you play that clip of Kamala Harris. Now I think you owe us big time. Your friend if you make it up to us, Dennis.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about this.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
Yeah, it's not good news. I don't think that's good news. I mean, the good news is, could you imagine a State of the Union address given by her?
Oh,
could you imagine?
Oof. Well, we don't have to.
That's true.
Imagine.
That's true.
That
is good news.
It's good news.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
So we have good news.
I'm
yes,
sorry.
We have good news and we have breaking news, as a new Supreme Court rule has come down about border asylum. It was voted on 6-3. This came out about 20 minutes ago. I started seeing it, and I wanted it to be confirmed. So today, the U.S. Supreme Court handed out a major immigration ruling that could have significant impact on how asylum is handled at the southern border. In a 6-3 decision, the court ruled that migrants who are still on the Mexican side of the border, even if they're standing at the U.S. port of entry, have not legally, quote, arrived in the United States under federal asylum law. That means the federal government is not required to process their asylum claims before allowing them into the country.
We're not required to process their asylum?
Correct. They had been. It'd been an issue.
Okay, so now they're coming into the country without their asylum?
No,
claims?
so now you have to actually be in the United States.
Oh, for us to process your claim. Oh, okay.
You can't be like. So the problem was that this is my understanding, is basically they were outside of the U.S. And they were already starting to process these claims. So now they actually have to be here, go through the effort of being here, and then they can do it. That's my understanding. Yes. So what this means is that this court ruling gives the federal government more authority to regulate who gets processed at ports of entry. Officials can continue limiting the numbers of people processed each day without automatically violating federal asylum law. That's a big deal. In particular, in practical terms, immigrants waiting in Mexico can be required to remain there until U.S. officials decide to admit them for processing. This doesn't completely eliminate asylum. Mm-hmm. Get ready, because that'll be the narrative. That's what they're going to try to. They're getting rid of asylum seekers. Oh my goodness! No.
They'll mix it with race too. It'll be they're picking and choosing which races.
Yeah,
are.
they're already.
That's how they're going to do it.
Yeah, they're already trying to pull that. The Supreme Court said while they disagreed, the majority said Congress used the phrase "arrives in the U.S." very deliberately. According to the court, someone standing outside the border, even directly in front of the port of entry, has not entered the United States. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go to do the segment and I'm standing right outside the studio door and it's open, mm-hmm. I'm not in the studio.
No.
So it's not. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't make sense for me to stand out there and say that I'm in the studio. So why would they say that with the country? They're not inside the country. Why would they say that they're in the country? Like, sometimes you just have to look at this is where government gets in their way the most. Just look at it practically. That's it.
They don't want to do that. They want to make it easier to flood the country with people that aren't supposed to be here.
Like, it just doesn't. None of it makes sense. And it's not good news. Don't do it. Don't do it. But it's just that's going to be the threat now. We're just going to be right on the edge of pressing the button.
How is the news?
It's breaking. It's breaking news. It's breaking. No, it's breaking news. But if you just look at things practically, like the fact that this had to go to the Supreme Court for them to decide, and that the vote was 6-3, I'm very curious to read the opinions on the three. But the fact that hey, if you're not inside the country, You're not inside the country. Really? Wow. You know, when I have a phone call and I call someone on the phone, it's a phone call. Like we're going back to Obama type style speech here. America is a country, and this country is America. And everybody's like, yeah, it is. You know, it's just this weird thing. We have to start looking at things kind of simply because we've overcomplicated it so much because everybody wants to be the smartest person in the room. And sometimes the smartest person is the person that says the fewest things.
Unfortunately, we've got to get back to the basics, and we've got to get back to words meaning what they actually mean. Like a man meaning a man and a woman meaning a woman. We need to just the basics.
I think you mean birthing individual.
No, that is not what I mean at all. That's not what I mean at all.
I think that's what you mean.
I think I meant man, and I think I meant woman.
I think you meant parent 1 and parent 2. Parent or guardian. Indians? No, Guardians.
Oh.
Guardians 1 or Guardians 2. Not Guardians of the Galaxy, not to be confused with the movie. It's.
But yeah, I mean, their attack on our dictionary is almost as bad as the attack on the country.
Well said. As you said it, I'm like that. Wait a second.
Where's it going with this? Oh, wait, wow.
No, it does. No, it makes a lot of sense. Well, it comes down to confusing people. They just want to confuse people because they know if people are confused, they're aggravated. If they're aggravated, you can tell them whatever you want, and if it's 2%, something that they align with, it's going to become their personality, and they're going to be out there marching, and they know that. Like we really do. Somebody texted and said signs of the end times. I don't know if they mean from the clip or the Supreme Court ruling.
Well, I don't think that's good news.
Yeah, no, that's not good news at all.
Well, it could be.
Well, I mean, if you have good news.
Yeah.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
That's crazy.
The ending of that,
that's what gets
news,
me.
Yeah,
that's what gets me. It's just because it reminds me of Winnie the Pooh. Don't ask me how. It just does. It's just something.
It's Tigger.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it is. You know, you're right. It's just. I mean, what's worse, Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren?
Kamala Harris.
I don't know.
I mean, if I had to have a conversation with one of them, it would have to be Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
I couldn't have a conversation with this.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
Yeah, that's
You
you're done. we're done. I hate that clip now. It was a terrible idea sending that to you.
Idea.
I sent it to him and I'm like, you got to see this. And I you know what? I will take blame for this. I apologize. I said, yeah, I thought about making that something, a button for us to play, but it'd be really annoying. And he goes, yeah, I was thinking about it too. And then here we are. This
I love
is
good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
All right, I promise I'll stop.
Okay.
For the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, for today. Well, I don't know. You can play right at the end. 15 minutes.
That's why I said 15 minutes.
But yeah, that's the major breaking news right now when it comes to the Supreme Court. The border asylum case. I'll be interested in reading the opinions and what exactly they're saying. And something's going to leak because everybody loves to leak it. But yeah, that came down today. I wonder if there's going to be any more decisions.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like they're kind of just getting everything done now. Don't they have a recess coming up or something?
Probably. Everybody has a recess except school kids. That's the craziest thing, isn't it? They took recess away from elementary schools.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that and SNAP tomorrow are the two big things for Open Lines Ohio.
Oh, yeah. We were supposed to talk about SNAP
at
some point today.
Yeah, the SNAP stuff, we will cover it tomorrow. I apologize. I know I said that in the overnight promo, but here's the thing. I have a lot of information coming at me about the SNAP stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just want to make sure that we have all of the information. Oh, also tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow is the NOWACA meeting. No waka waka waka. 10 a.m. in Spencer, the Lorraine Medina Rural Electric. It's one cooperative way. The meeting will be held in the community room, so go to that. 10 a.m. Get there early. Get your signs. Make your sign that say no waka waka waka. There you go. If you want to, if you're going to make that sign, let me know, and I'll send you a good photo of me going waka waka.
And then you got to get one of those little bike horns there.
Yeah, just the whole thing's a joke. So go treat it like a joke. Go laugh at them. Go laugh at them in person because they got to be laughing at us behind the scenes. I mean, the stuff that they're trying to do is insane. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show, the final segment. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the final segment of this Thursday, June 25th, 2026 edition of the Jake Underwood Show. Let's see. Somebody said you're going to make me go back to sports, you slippery wizard. Referring to you there, Kenny.
I'm sorry.
And they're saying that
I just get excited sometimes.
I know. We get some good clips, and it is fun to play. We are being told that we're getting a bit too juvenile.
That happens. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, can't have fun.
No. No.
The fun police said no. Sorry.
And somebody, James texted in, and I could tell he's using talk to text, so I will decode it for him. He meant to say, did you already talk about DeWine vetoing the mail-in ballots and the absentee voting? We did. We spoke about that earlier in the show. Just to sum all that up, basically what was said there is we got to make sure that we get it put into the Constitution as an amendment. We got to make sure that we go vote, make sure that voter ID is something that the state takes seriously, because we need to take it seriously. That's just all there is to it. I mean, you have members of members of the House of Representatives now boycotting, saying we're not voting. Mm-hmm. We're going to vote no on everything. It doesn't matter what it is until this is passed, because over 80% of Americans want this to be a priority. That's just the way that's going to. Like how?
I don't know why it's so difficult.
That's the part that frustrates me. Really.
And to me, it just seems like there's a lot of people in Washington are letting personal opinions get in the way. Get in the way of actually serving the American public.
Now, I will say this: are there some people that are there going to be some that, and they're probably Democrats, that are listening to the people that are calling into their office and they're saying, "Do not vote for this, no matter what." Yeah. But you're also going to have the people like Bill Cassidy that's going to sit there and throw a fit because he voted with Trump. I believe it was 100% of the time, and he still got primaried, and he's aggravated about that. It's somebody's right to vote or to run and try to get votes and to try to get you out if they feel that you're not doing your job. Mm-hmm. And it's the right of the president to endorse whoever he wants to endorse. We're sorry it didn't go your way. Yeah, that's too bad. But then try to run again. I mean, look at Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey lost. What did he do? He already filed his paperwork. He might run again. Mm-hmm. He filed it just in case. All right, hey, just in case I decide to run, if I decide to do it, run again in 28, here it is. So do the same thing. You're not entitled to anything.
No, they think they are, though. They really do.
Well, yeah, they get
comfortable in their seat in Washington.
That's just it.
That it's theirs until they want to step down, which is just not the case.
Yeah, but when it comes to the DeWine stuff, we got to make sure that we get as many people as we can to vote in November. Get the voter ID to be a part of the state constitution. Get that amendment on there, and then we'll be good to go. Because then at that point, if we introduce something like this, we can argue that it's violating state constitution, or this solidifies state constitution stance even more. That amendment, you can make the argument. I don't know if it would be upheld, just because I don't know the ballot language completely. But it's something that you can at least make the argument. Then, hey, so many people care about this. And you know what? Not just to play devil's advocate here, that might be a reason why Mike DeWine vetoed it. He said, "Look, it's going to be an issue that's on the ballot. Maybe we wait. We wait to see how the election turns out."
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate who knows, but that could be the reason why. Somebody in the Rumble chat asked what kind of butter does Franny put on the brownies? That's the
good kind, I would think.
And then somebody else commented. They said, "Man, did we dodge a bullet not getting Kamala in office?" Yeah,
and that was some.
No, don't do it. Don't you dare.
I promised.
You did.
I promised.
You did. You promised. But for sure tomorrow, because I know we were going to talk about it today. We had the stuff with the Supreme Court, and then the DeWine stuff hit, and I'm like, all right, we got to make sure we talk about this veto and everything. Tomorrow we are going to talk about what some judges are doing when it comes to the SNAP things that were put in place. I helped get some of those passed in these states when it comes to the SNAP stuff. So I'm not happy about it. And yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because that's man.
It just doesn't make sense.
Just the stuff that people want to focus on and how they want to grandstand. It doesn't make any sense. And the things that they consider equality are just stupid. Equality is opportunity. Equality is not being able to eat Doritos. I don't know. I don't know what federal judge needs to hear that. Well, I know one. It was an Obama-appointed judge that ran her mouth, and she has the right to do so. And guess what? I got the right to say things right back. So it's just it's dumb. It's very dumb, and it doesn't make any sense. But they don't care. What do they care? They're not the ones that are using it. They don't care about it. They don't care about the dangers that sugar and everything else is going to bring to kids that are being used. And it's not nutrition. It's not. Sorry. But Doritos is not something that's nutritious. I know people don't want to hear that because they want to eat Doritos. Look, I love Doritos.
I love Doritos.
Man, a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, give me 5 minutes and they're gone. But it's not good. And you know what? That's not the stuff that government should be buying. You shouldn't be allowed to buy that on government dime. I'm sorry.
And the thing is, we're not saying people can't buy it. You go pay for it out of your money.
Right.
You want it, go get it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll dive into that. We'll dive into that tomorrow. And then what else did I say we were going to talk about?
I don't even know.
The SNAP stuff got me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of the big thing. We've been sitting on that like a day or two.
Well, yeah, because every time I plan on talking about it, I talk to somebody from Maha, or I talk to somebody that has like real close connections with it, and they're giving me a different perspective on things. And I'm going, well, I got to sit here and look this up now. So I'm just not going to talk to anybody the rest of the day. That's how that's going to go. And we're going to dive into that because there's so much going on with that. And it's just that it's that grandstanding for stuff that doesn't really matter. But it's that, like I said, it's the thing that gets the like, clicks, and retweets. So they're going to be all about it. And it's really frustrating. Really
I know
is.
one other thing is we debated on an after show, but we didn't mention it all day. So we were going to just do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So tomorrow after the show we'll have an after show, and that of course is exclusively on Rumble. So we'll make sure that we let people know about it and everything. We had every intention of doing it today, but to be honest, we have like a little work gathering thing here. So. And I think there's food, and I haven't eaten yet.
Is it a pizza party?
I hope it's a pizza. I hope they got pizza. I hope they did.
I hope they did. I love pizza.
I love pizza. Pizza's good
stuff. I don't know why pizza parties at work it's such a bad name. I get it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of companies will be like, "Hey, great job, everyone.
We made record profits. Here's some pizza.
Here's a piece of pizza."
Yeah.
Now, I get that, but I'm always up for free food.
Oh yeah, no, free food is great. And so tomorrow we'll really dive into the SNAP stuff. Also, don't forget the Fauci Files Part 2, probably going to be, we have Sean Duffy next Tuesday at 11:05. So we'll probably do that maybe Thursday because we have a pretty big guest coming on Wednesday also. A lot of people are reaching out about getting on, which is great. We got to go. Have an incredible day. Thank you for letting us be at work with you, hanging out at home, in your car, wherever it may be. Tell someone some good news. Tell someone about Jesus today, will ya? It's a negative place out there. Give somebody the good news. Tell them about Jesus. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
I love good news.